All right, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Councilman Box, if you'd be so kind.
Almighty Creator, Father God of us all, thank you for the ability to be here, Lord. Thank you for the joy that you've given us. We thank you for the blessings, Lord. We thank you for the trials that we go through, every experience we have that helps us learn to be better people, better citizens, and eventually better children for you. Give us guidance and wisdom tonight as we go through the challenges in front of the city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Roll call. We have Councilman London. Could be delayed. He said he might be here by 6:15. If he joins us, he'll just come on up at that time. But for the meantime, we'll count him as absent. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Here.
Councilman Box?
Here.
Councilman Sims?
Here.
And myself present. All right. At this time, I look for a motion for the approval of the minutes from the regular city council meeting on April 18th of 2023.
Motion to approve the minutes from the council meeting on April 18th,
Second.
2023.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed, no abstained. If I could get a motion for the payment of the current bills.
Motion to pay the current bill $635,744.14.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed. All right. At this time, we would look for any professional or consultant reports. Anybody, any professionals or consultants to the city that needs to deliver a report? Fair enough. Mayor, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Council President, for giving me this opportunity to be able to share with the wonderful citizens of Irondale. How is everyone doing this evening?
Good, Mayor.
You all did wonderful by responding with such a powerful response. I didn't have to repeat it like I usually have to do. But again, thank you all for coming tonight and to be with us. I have 4 announcements that I would like to make, and then I have some presentations to make for our employees. The first thing that I want to talk to you all about on tomorrow at 7:30 at Church of the Highlands, we're having the National Day of Prayer breakfast. We have over 300 people that are going to attend this event. We have a dynamic speaker, Pastor Mike Jr., who is a national recording artist, stellar award-winning singer. But he also is the pastor at the Rock City Church. He's a very charismatic and dynamic speaker. You will really be missing out if you do not come and try to attend the event. So you can still go home tonight if you want to and see if you could purchase a ticket to attend. On May the 11th, we're having a charity basketball game. Now, we're not playing. We realize that we're too old to play. We're going to coach, and he and I are going to have a free throw shooting contest before the game. See who can hit the most free throws out of 25. I went outside on Sunday to try to get ready for the event, and after about 20 shots, my knees started to go out. So I think I'm in the right place. But we're going to have city employees, police officers, firemen that are playing in this event. And we will also have 8 teachers from the high school, middle school that will be a part of it as well. This is a charity event. It's going to be at 1 o'clock, Shades Valley High School in the gymnasium. So if you don't have anything to do and you would like to come and laugh at us out there trying to relive our glory days, it's a perfect opportunity to come and to be able to do that. Also, I want to congratulate everyone for doing such a good job on recycling since we've been able to pass out the blue trash cans. I mean, I ride down Belmont and in the neighborhood that I live, Old Overton Road, and everybody has their cans out. They have the lids down. So now I'm going to visit the Birmingham Recycling Center because I don't know why we continue to have a 25% rate but we are doing very well. And the citizens, I want to commend you all for keeping the lid closed or closing the lid. That was one of the things that I talked about, the citizens doing that. So I believe that when you beat up on people, you beat up on them. When they are doing a good job, you should encourage them to keep on doing that. So we're doing a good job with recycling, and I'll give you an update once I have an opportunity to visit the facility. The Grants Mill Road update. I went to Grants Mill Road on Saturday, and I began to walk on the site, and one of the construction workers came and said, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm the mayor. Look at the blue tag." And they allowed me to continue on the site, but they're almost completed with the retaining wall. They're about, I'm going to say 95 to 96% complete with the retaining wall. Their plan is to be able to move from that particular place in about 5 weeks. I'm still not going to give you a date. I'll give you a month, but I'm not going to give you a year. They're still on track for September. So I don't know if it's going to be September 23, 24, 25, but they told me September. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. On Sunday, May the 7th, we'll have the message with the mayor. I believe that we're going to tape on location at Ruffner Nature, at the mountain, Ruffner Mountain, the nature part of Ruffner Mountain, not the ballpark, to be able to highlight ecotourism and all of the wonderful recreational opportunities that we have here in the city of Irondale. With that, I'll hold off on the other events for our next city council meeting, which is on May 16th. At this time, I would like to, on last council meeting, we named 5 employees that has performed beyond the call of duty. These employees did not even know that someone was watching what they were doing, but I feel like people should be rewarded when they're doing a fantastic job. All 179 employees are great, but we do have 5 employees that are greater. So tonight we're going to honor them and just thank them for the outstanding job that they're doing. And when they come to take their picture, if you're a family member, I would like for you to come as well, because I know you all make sacrifices for them to be able to do the fantastic job that they're doing here at the city. And I want you to be a part or to celebrate with them the success that they're having here at the city of Irondale. Okay, the first person that I'm going to ask to come down is the best city clerk in the state of Alabama, Mrs. Lee Allison. Lee is doing an awesome job. She should get this award just for putting up with me on a daily basis. I'll pick up the phone at any time and I'll call her. It may be 9. I'm sorry, Nick, but I'll call at 9. I'll call at 9 p.m. and we'll be talking about stuff that's going on in the city. But she's been here for the year that she's taken over the job. She's come up with some wonderful ideas. One of them was to create the city app. That was her idea. She was also responsible for going back and collecting some delinquent taxes that some companies have not paid here in the city of Irondale, and that was over $100,000. So Lee is doing an awesome job, and I just want to give her her flowers while she is alive. So I'm going to, I always have the tendency not to give the checks first and give the certificates, but I know that they would rather have the check than to have the certificates. So I'm gonna give you the check first. And this check is supposed to cover all of the expenses on the Bahamas trip. So you all make sure. She told me that she was going to use that for Maddie's graduation present. So Maddie, you make sure she spend all of that money on you, and we got it on tape. So okay. So Emma, you'll get me and Lee, and then I'll ask the family to come up too. Okay, family.
I'll go.
We have I'm just gonna call him Mr. Civic Center. You all will know who I'm talking about. Brad Doss. When we purchased the Zamora that is now called the Irondale Civic Center, we just purchased the land. We had no plans to be able to host events and to do all of those things. We were trying to do a study to determine what we were going to do with it. And Brad began to just take the initiative to move forward and to be able to do a lot of things up there. So I was surprised the other council meeting when he was here, and he said that he had 49 events that was scheduled to be in the Civic Center. I even had an opportunity on Saturday night to go to the Tough Man competition. Was very brutal and barbaric, but it seemed that a lot of people enjoyed it. But Brad is the assistant fire chief, not the director of the Irondale Chamber of Commerce or the Irondale Civic Center. He does not receive any additional compensation for the work that he's put in at that Civic Center. And I would say, Brad, it would not be where it is today if it wasn't for your dedication and diligence to make sure that it happens. So just wanted to let you know that we appreciate you. All right. Most important. Next recipient is Jason Hill. Lieutenant Jason. Lieutenant Jason Hill has become a fan favorite in the city of Irondale. He can dance. He can call bingo numbers. He can even direct the DJ when we have the food giveaways. And he's been doing all of this, not doing his regular work hours, but he's been doing this in his spare time. And even on Saturday, he was here for 3 events. He was here for Prayer at the Pole. Then he went and he worked up at the Hazardous Waste Day. And then he went from there and he helped to lead over 200 Porsches into the city. And on top of that, he came out at 2 p.m. to check on a family reunion that was going on at Beacon Park. So I just wanted to reward and thank Jason. He's also a character as well. But one of the things that I can say about Jason will come by the office and he'll say, Mayor, I just want to let you know that I'm praying for you. And that really means a lot. And I'm not going to cry tonight, but I just wanted to thank you for all of the additional work and time that you put into the city, because you don't have to do it. And I'm going to give the check to your wife. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, you all are world travelers, so it's probably going on a trip. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I gotta bring the family.
Oh, okay. Next, we have Miss Dana Horsley. Dana has only been with us for 4 months. That's kind of like a running joke in the house. She's actually been with us about, 7 or 8 months? She's been with us about 8 months. And Dana has kind of come in, caught the vision of what's going on here at the city. She's always at events that's after hours. She even sat through the Citizen Engagement Institute. I did not say, Dana, we need you to be there to be able to do anything, to be able to help out. But she gave 6 of her Thursday nights to be there at the Engagement Institute to be able to help out. And that's good when you have an employee that's just been here for less than 7 months and they're just get involved with what's going on in the city. She's also doing a great job in our municipal courts as well. So I just wanted to, and she's still on probation. So she still hadn't made it yet. But we feel pretty confident that she'll be able to get her year in. So Dana, just wanted to thank you as well. And last but not least is Lieutenant David Brasher. I mean, every time I look around, Lieutenant Brasher is on Facebook and social media, doing something. I had the privilege to go with him to be able to give out some weather preparedness kits. His vision is to be able to, I think there's 504 mobile homes in the city of Irondale, and his vision is to make sure that each one of those mobile homes have a weather preparedness kit. And I rode with him when we were up in the trailer park. He was very diligent in making sure that we got those kits to one of the families, and those families were pretty thrilled about that. But he's done, every time I go to Grantswood, he's doing something. At Grantswood, he leads the Explorers. He worked with Claude on a project of making sure that you could provide numbers in Holiday Garden, so when the fire trucks are going through the community at night, they can be able to see that they're going to the right house. So I wanted to thank you, Lieutenant, for all the work that you do. You go beyond the call of duty to perform a wonderful service here in the city of Irondale. And I truly believe that you have a vision and a heart for this city. And you do what you do just because it's the right thing to do, not because you're looking for extra compensation. And I want to be able to thank you for that. You're there.
What about his wife?
Bryce, come on down. That birthday, we didn't have it. It wasn't for you. The only thing that I want to say before I sit down to the employees is that you never know who's paying attention to what you're doing, because they didn't know that I was paying attention to what they were doing, the extra work hours and things that they were putting in. They were just putting it in because they felt that it's the right thing to do. So that's what I really want to leave everybody with. Don't do what you do because you think somebody is watching you. Do what you do because you feel that it's the right thing to do, and because you have a love for this city that even if we didn't give you a paycheck for 2 weeks, you would still show up for the third week. Now, now trust me, I'm not going to try to implement that. Because if I tried that, you all may call the fire department and nobody shows up. Somebody may break in your house and the police department won't answer the call. And Lord knows if your garbage didn't get picked up for a week, you'll be down here at City Hall. So I'm not going to do that, but that's the culture that we're trying to build around here, to get people to be able to love the city and to be able to go beyond the call of duty, to be able to show the citizens that we love you and we want to make sure that we do the best that we can, and we don't always have to be paid for doing it. Council President, that's the end of my report, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with the wonderful citizens of Irondale.
Thank you, sir. All right. At this time, I'll go ahead and let the room clear. At this time, we would look for any reports from any department heads that have a report to deliver. All right, fair enough. That being said, we'll go ahead and get started with our council member reports. I'll go ahead and start off by saying that Mount Hebron, in conjunction with YIA, is going to be doing grilling in the Grove. It's going to be Saturday, May 27th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. They are going to have, let's see here, there's going to be a platter contest. There's going to be a rib contest, a variety of things going on. So once again, that's at Mount Hebron Church, which is just over here in the Bend, 2400 2nd Avenue South. I've got some information. I'll probably put it on my Facebook feed or maybe the app here pretty soon just so you can see it. But that should be a fun time. Second time they've done that. So just hope they have a really good event. I look forward to being there. Councilman Sims?
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Congratulations to each of the employees that were just recognized. I think all of our employees are what makes Irondale so great. So thank you for rising above and doing what all y'all do. Holiday Gardens Neighborhood Association will have its monthly meeting at 6:30 at the Senior Activity Center next Tuesday night. And that is all I have.
Councilman Box?
Just echoing Councilman Sims' comments, thanks everybody for coming out. Two things, Hampton Place and Mountain Lake and Heritage Place, I'd like to hear from your neighborhood associations on any projects that we're looking to try to get done that the city might could help out with. They do have to be for a public purpose, but if you'll just throw some ideas out this way, I can pass those through and make sure. Public safety is going well. I spent some time with several officers this afternoon, and on the abatement board, I haven't been in contact very much with that, but I intend to try to work on that a little bit more during the upcoming week. And that's all mine. Thank you.
Councilwoman McQuair?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. Ditto to our city employees, all well deserved, and thank you for going the extra mile in everything that you do. Please know that the city council also notices that, and we are so grateful for having you as part of our team. The second thing I'd like to note is that Jefferson County has issued a warning for all Jefferson County residents who are 50 to 85 years of age in regard to a misleading ad that is going around that has the Jefferson County logo on it, and it mentions coverage of burial expenses up to $35,000 with no medical exam required. Beware, Jefferson County has stated this organization is not affiliated with Jefferson County. And officials at Jefferson County have reported the ad to officials. And they have asked that residents do the same if they receive this ad with the Jefferson County logo on it. The second thing I'd like to mention is that we have some wonderful news. New business is opening up on Monday, May 8th. It's called Holy Roses. It is a florist and gift shop. It is located on Old Leeds Road, right next to the roundabout, across the street from the Price Hightower building development that's going on there. So they'll be opening up on May the 8th. They are local residents, Jerry and Christine Hensel. And so I'd like to ask that you stop by to see them and see what it is. If they have anything that can meet your needs, it's very exciting to have a florist here in Irondale. The third thing I'd like to note is that a special shout out to one of our District 3 residents. She doesn't like to be recognized, but I'm going to do it. I saw her in the audience, and she has been doing this for many years, at least since I've lived in Irondale, 2006. Miss Judy Wilson and her husband have been tending to the Old Leeds Forest sign. As you're going down Old Leeds Road and you turn on Belmont Road, you'll see the Old Leeds Forest sign. She and her husband have been putting flowers there for years, and years and years. And she did it again this last month. And Judy and Mr. Wilson, I just want to thank you. Thank you so much. You really go the extra mile. You love love our city, and you really make our city a beautiful place, something for residents, anyone visiting, to see these beautiful flowers that you have put there. And your son also, who mows at times, thank you so much for what you do. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank y'all. All right. At this time, we would accept a report from any non-council or boards. Any reports from any non-councils or boards? All right. Fair enough. We'll go ahead and we don't have any public hearings tonight, so we'll go ahead and get into the deliberation of the event this evening. Item number 1 would be resolve that resolution 2023 R47 declares city vehicles from the fire department as surplus and authorizes the disposal of such property by Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee through the sale at gov.deals.com. I know this has got Chief McDaniel's name next to it, but we've done this a few hundred times. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions or comments?
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to ask some questions on this. Only a couple of questions. Is this equipment in working condition or is it broken?
It is in working condition, but it's old. It's over 25 years old, both engines are. And with us being buying the 2 new engines, we just don't need these 2 engines.
Okay, all right. And that's all I have to ask. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
No questions from myself either. Do we agree to keep that on consent?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Item number 2, resolution 2023 R48 authorizes the execution of an agreement with Slappy Communications DBA It Voice for internet and phone installation and maintenance at the Irondale Civic Center. We already work with these guys on a variety of other items. This is just incorporated into the Civic Center. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And myself, no questions. We agree to keep it on consent?
Yes.
All right, cool. Item number 3, resolve that resolution 2023 R49 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to execute a temporary construction easement agreement with Russo Corporation on the property at 6350 Highway 78 East, Trussville, Alabama, 35173. Mr. Cochran, this has your name next to it. I don't know if you have anything you would like to add. Yeah, absolutely. Please come on up, sir. Hey, greetings. Just I guess you can just give us a high level overview what you're trying to accomplish.
We're doing a project with the Birmingham Water Works, connecting the this is kind of a monumental as far as subsurface work goes, connecting the north and south phases of the Carson Loop project to transmit water around the Birmingham area. So in that, we are building a pipe bridge over the Cotton River and laying various feet of 36-inch water line. To do that, we've got to be able to access certain areas on the river bank and around, kind of behind Grand River. And you guys own one of those pieces of property that we would like to access. I think they've already acquired a right of way from you guys. So I've got agreements with Alabama Power, with U.S. Steel already. So you guys are kind of missing link. And I actually don't even really know that we're going to have to access your property, but we're going to be so close in so close proximity that I thought it would be good to go ahead and ask, just in case we did need to park a truck there or a piece of equipment, things of that nature.
Okay.
The permit for this job has been permitted through Irondale also.
Okay.
Majority of the project in the city limits of Birmingham or Irondale, a very small portion is in the city limits of Birmingham. Off of the Floyd Bradford, Amber Hills area, a small section here, close to the Armstrong Pump area.
Okay. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions for the gentleman?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
I'm just curious, timeline of when project would get started and hopefully end.
We intend to start the project on the 15th of this year. It'll last for about 18 months. But the majority of the work that would involve y'all's property would be, it'd be the first half of the project. The rest of the work, the bridge work, and would be that the kind of the end of the project, towards the end of the project. That's all going to be accessed from the south to the north side, opposite of you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, and myself, no questions. Do we agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Item number 4, resolve that resolution 2023 R50 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart to execute an agreement with Whistle Stop Festival, Inc., an Alabama non-for-profit corporation for the 2023 Whistle Stop Festival. This has got my name on it. I know I received the original contract. Y'all have seen some readjustments and things of that nature. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions about this?
No questions. Our attorney and Mayor Stewart got everything done with to address the concerns I had.
Okay. Councilman Box?
No questions, just echoing Councilwoman Cuellar's comments.
Okay. Councilman Sims?
No questions.
Okay, myself, no questions. Do we agree to leave this on consent?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 5, resolve that resolution 2023 R51 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to enter into a memorandum of agreement with Jefferson County Board of Health for the payment of funds to the city of Irondale in the amount of $60,000 for the purpose of repairing the walking track at Beacon Park. Mayor, anything you want to say on that? Or, I mean, it's pretty, and you've already y'all alluded to it last meeting, so.
Okay, yes, I just wanted to, first of all, thank the county for providing the city with $60,000 to be able to totally reconstruct the track that's up there at the city.
Nice. Thank you for that collaboration. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions on this?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
I just have a question on, we'll get the money from the county. Is that just then a project that gets spit it out, or how does that work after that?
We'll still,
create track.
I've already talked to the engineers to get some specs because it's over $50,000. We'll still, because of the bid law, we'll still have to put it out for bid. Or if there's someone that's in one of the co-ops that does this kind of work, then that allows us to not to have to do it, but basically we'll have to go through the process as if we were putting it out for the bid. This just provides us with the money to be able to pay for the repairs.
Do you have an idea of how long it'll be before we actually do get to a point where we can do that?
Well, one of the things is that we still have to go after some additional funding because based on the first evaluation that the engineers had performed on the track, it would be over $145,000 to tear up the track and to replace it with, I want to say maybe 4 or 6 inch concrete all the way around that particular track. And concrete happens to be very expensive, but the county has at least given us I guess you could say, a kick off the campaign, to be able to, to be able to do it. But that's where we are right now with the track.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions. We agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 5, I am open to moving this to regular based on the nature of it, along with another one that is similar in nature. Resolved that Resolution 2023 R52 authorizes a special exception to the facade requirements for the building located at 1916 Alton Road as allowed by Section 4-11 of the Municipal Code of the City of Irondale for a specialty designed building. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions or comments?
I'm in agreement with moving it. I have actually looked at both, and I do have some concerns with the special exception to our facade requirements. I'd be interested in knowing what kind of building. Is it just going to be a portable metal building that is going to be?
Is there anyone here to represent the property of 1916 Alton Road?
They could not make it tonight. That's
Okay.
why I was speaking on their behalf.
Okay, come on up, sir.
This is the site one building on 1916 Alton.
Right.
It's the new landscaping supply. The CO of this building about 3 months, well, about 2 months ago, with the original building. They're in service now.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do about a 4,000 square foot building on the back of this building. The original building does not have brick on it or a masonry on it. And they're wanting an exception where they don't have to do it on the addition.
Right. That's a metal building, is it not?
Correct.
And it's not totally in the back. I mean, isn't half of that building,
There'll be
you
some
can
showing, yes,
see
ma'am.
that from the street.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and that's the concern that I do have, is that you can see it from the street. And, we have some requirements that we have in our city where we are wanting a more professional look, because as you know, the metal buildings do deteriorate. They look nice when you first put them up, but then they don't look so good after a while. And that's what we're trying to avoid having. And so those are the concerns that I have. So the way that I look at it, if half is going to be seen from the street, we're looking at 2,000 square feet that you can see from the street. Is that correct? Okay, thank you.
Councilman Box?
No questions on this one. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Sims?
What is the zoning there?
I'm sure, I'm not sure. Pretty sure it's industrial because it's landscaping supply.
Fair enough.
And you're basically doubling the size, is that right? The building, there's an existing building. Is this building roughly the same size as the existing that they're?
Same side, but it's gonna sit, on the back, it's gonna sit long ways to the,
Okay.
to the original building.
And it's detached.
No, sir, they're correct, they're connected.
Okay. Sorry, Aaron.
No,
Councilman
no,
Sims,
and thank you.
started asking. They're connected, and the word specialty in there, I have that. I mean, it's a Butler building. Is there something that deems it specialty?
No, sir,
Okay,
it's commercial real metal, so there's nothing special about it.
copy that. All right, thank you. General consensus: do we keep this on consent, or do we move it down to regular and put it up for a vote?
I'm okay with it.
What I'd like to do is ask that we consider postponing this and actually meet with the owner of the property and discuss it with him to try to come up with a workable solution.
They've also got some setback problems too that they're trying to work out, so they gotta go for the BCA. So that's what I told them tonight, I would see what y'all come up with, but they still have to go before the planning and zoning, so they know it's still gonna be a little bit.
Since they have to go through P and Z, I'm fine with postponing. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the wise.
okay.
yeah.
You go with that,
That's the
Councilman
prudent
Sims?
move.
If we postpone and pass 2023-15, they can't get an exception, correct?
Do they already have their plan submitted?
Yes.
So basically some of the other business we have in the regular agenda, if that's moved, depending on, they're still okay because they've submitted their plans prior, correct?
Well, they're not approved through our engineer or the
Okay.
building department yet, so.
Okay.
They're not approved, but they are turned in.
Okay. Legal on that, Ms. Danielson? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I guess okay. So the thought is to postpone item number 6, but obviously we've got an ordinance to
7.
deal with. I'm sorry.
Six or seven?
No, it's not. It's item number
Sorry.
6. Obviously we have an ordinance that we're going to be deliberating here in a little bit. Based on the fact that the plans haven't been approved, but they've been submitted, correct? Okay. If we move on this ordinance tonight, is that going, and if we postpone 6, are we creating a larger problem for ourselves?
You would be removing the ability to grant an exception
Okay.
because there is a section in this that actually provides for the submittal of the plans prior to or obtaining of a business license. That is of your building, excuse me, that has been taken.
Okay. So, short answer to Councilman Sims' point, you've got that as well if you're considering postponing.
Yeah, I'd like us to go on and postpone this resolution and deal with the next one as well. Because it is a special exception, and I'd really like to talk with those at the Site 1 and discuss and get more information and see what consensus that we can come up with. Because the way that this is written now, it just opens the door, and I'm very concerned about it. So I'd like us to postpone.
Legal?
Just found a section that I was actually looking for. It says the requirement for a masonry, brick, glass exterior wall construction shall apply to any commercial / non-residential structure for which a building permit application is submitted to the city's building inspections department after the effective date, this section.
Okay.
So that is in there, and so therefore, if Greg already has a building permit application submitted for them, then they would be grandfathered.
Okay. So
that
they don't have to
version
be, the plans don't have to be approved, they just have to be submitted, which they have been successfully submitted.
Is submitted.
Okay. Copy that. All right.
Okay, so
So that
if
would,
that
would work.
satisfies my concern.
okay. Councilman Box, your thoughts?
Well, so once again, if we remove it from tonight's agenda, then an exception can still be granted at a later time since their building permit has already been issued.
That's what I'm hearing. Is that accurate?
Applied for.
Applied
Excuse
for.
me.
Yes. Okay. Your thoughts on the matter, Councilman
fine.
Sims? Okay. I'm fine postponing it if you would like some more information. All right. All right, so we'll postpone 6. Item number 7, resolve the resolution 2023 R53 approves an alcohol license for Publix Alabama LLC located at 1288 Grants Mill Road, Irondale, Alabama 35210. Think that's probably pretty clear. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And myself, no questions. We agree to keep that on consent?
Yes.
All right. Item number 8, resolve that resolution 2023 R54 amends the moratorium on the issuance of sign permits within the city of Iredell to extend the moratorium until September 1st, 2023 to allow the city to complete its work on the sign ordinance amendments. what we have on the books currently, just being extended to September 1st. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And I'm good as well. We agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Item number 9, resolve that resolution 2023 R55 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to execute a facility use agreement with the American Red Cross to use and occupy the Irondale Civic Center for a temporary basis to conduct emergency disaster related activities. This is not necessarily, Mayor, this is not necessarily a blood drive. This is just in case we have a disaster and American Red Cross needs to come set up shop.
Yes, that's
Okay.
that's what it is. I had an opportunity through my, I guess, United Way work to coming to contact with American Red Cross. They're looking to have a facility on this side of town because they don't have one in the event that a disaster happens on this side. Even when the fires was going on in Moody, they didn't have a place for those individuals if they needed to evacuate them.
Okay.
So they approached me about the Irondale Civic Center. I thought that it would be a good idea, and I just wanted to bring it to you all tonight for you all to consider it for
Perfect.
adoption.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
So I guess the only question would be, will there be any storage of emergency equipment or anything like that at the facility?
No.
That's it.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
I have no questions either, and I think it's fantastic. All right, we agree to go ahead and keep this on consent?
Yes.
All right. Item number 10, this was the second one that I was saying maybe we need to consider to adding it to the regular agenda so that we can vote on it. A resolve that resolution 2023 R56 authorizes a special exception to the facade requirements for the building located at 300 Ruffner Road as allowed by section 4-11 of the municipal code of the city of Irondale for a specialty designed building. Mr. Cochran, is there anything you want to say on this one? No. Okay, there's nothing. Okay, fair enough. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes, I've also gone to this location and taken a look, and I have questions. Are we talking about metal buildings?
Do we have someone to represent? Perfect. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. That's international iPads out.
Yes.
Yeah, I have mine.
To answer your question, ma'am, yes, it's a metal building. My client, just to provide a brief summary of how we got here, my client, through his engineer, submitted plans to the city on December 4th and didn't have any feedback until after the most recent update to this particular building code was passed in January. So he has a unique hardship in that he's already invested in the engineering, bought the materials, the components for the metal building, and to comply with the ordinance as it stands, or I would imagine what is going to be considered later, would cost approximately an additional $100,000 in building costs. I do think some unique aspects of this property might mitigate some of the council's concerns. First of all, you'll see in the packet that I think it's labeled figure 4 or 5. There's a natural greenbelt buffer separating the location of where these buildings will go up and Ruffner Road. So that will naturally significantly decrease the visibility of the buildings. My client also prepared to install some greenbelt buffer of his own that would be in between the tree line, shrubbery, and the buildings. But the closest building to the road is approximately 135 feet from Ruffner. So I think all those aspects of the property might lessen some of the concerns that would come about as far as visibility goes.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yeah, there's some, you noted that the building plans were turned in. the words that I'm looking for is the permitting process. Did we have a permitting process in place? Mr. Cochran?
Man, we just do a 3-week plan review.
Right.
Last time I got them was December 4th, and with Christmas and New Year's in there. After New Year's come around, I informed the client about the brick ordinance.
Okay. So, and that's the way that our ordinance 2023-5, we had a permitting process that needed to be in place. Then I also went back to our 2007 ordinance, and still there are requirements for a structure that would have some type of masonry, and what you're asking for is no masonry at all. And so I'm just no permitting process, and then you're mentioning the previous ordinance, but even that has requirements. And what you're asking for are no requirements, just to put up some metal buildings. So I have concerns with that. And I also have concerns about safety, because you are right next to Ruffner Park. And there are children that are at Ruffner Park, and they could easily cross the street. And I'm concerned about their safety going onto these premises. What do you have to keep that safety concern that I've got from happening?
I think I can handle that, but that is the property owner. Yes, ma'am. It's going to be fully gated, and it's a totally private operation. The public will not be invited, it's a business, but it's a manufacturing business, and there's no showroom or anything that would bring folks to the site. And as far as concerns about children, it's going to be fully gated, and that would be a natural, deterrent or prevention in place to stop anything like that. And going back to some of the other concerns mentioned, as far as the permitting process, my understanding, and I've reviewed the correspondence between the applicant and the city, he submitted his plans, and then he didn't hear anything back until after the January ordinance was passed. So I don't, at least not to my knowledge, that there was any conversation saying you're going to have to comply with this particular ordinance before the January ordinance hit. Now, I know what you're talking about also with the 2007 ordinance. There's some confusion built into that as well, because after that was passed, an amendment was passed. And I've spoken with the city's council about it. And there's a problem with the amendment, but the amendment says that the ordinance shall only apply to certain roads within the city, and Ruffner's not listed. That amendment could be defective due to some of the construction of it, but I think it would place a reasonable person, business owner, under the impression that their property would not be affected by the ordinance. So again, that's kind of the hardship that the unique hardship that we have here.
I would disagree. I would disagree that because it is contained in the whereas, sections, that is not part of the actual law. It has been set up in the city's muni code since, 2007, that there are no roads actually listed in there. And so it has been that clear in the actual muni code since then. So there wouldn't be any confusion.
Thank you, legal. That's how I understood it as well when I went back to look at it. And again, the permitting process is what is very clear. That has to be ongoing, and we don't have a permitting process. What we have are business plans that were submitted, and so that sticks out for me. And the area, the buffer, it's not good enough. It's not good enough with what what we have been intending in the city, and even going back to 2007, we are not wanting metal buildings, strictly metal buildings in the city of Arndale. We have some requirements. There is a look that we want in the city, and the look is not total metal building. And I agree with that. And so those are my comments.
Councilman Box?
Well, I guess the only comments I have, if recollection serves or memory serves, which a lot of times it doesn't without my red suit on, is this a phased project where one building was going to go in and then the other buildings were going to come at a later time?
It's possible that other buildings are coming at a later time, but the only thing that have been submitted to the city is for the construction of 2 buildings. There is a sheet in here that shows a second phase, but that has not been applied for.
I think the only thing that I had discussed with several of my colleagues was that an exception for the 1 or 2 buildings that were in question, but not for the complete property. So
That's fair, yes, sir.
That's the only place I can still be, and that only because I kind of gave my word on that. Other things have developed that would cause me to move from that, but because I gave my word that would be my stance, I'll stay there.
Councilman Sims?
I agree with Councilor Box on the 2 buildings that have been applied for. If we do something, it'd be for those 2 buildings only. Question about the metal buildings. Is this just metallic metal bare, or is it some sort of, will they be painted, colored, some? So it's not just a shiny, okay.
No, I try to camouflage them as much as I could because I am close to Rucker Park. And I think I try to maintain that aspect.
I don't know how many meetings it's been now that you've bounced. It's been I lost count. So, I mean, I think we need to do something about this tonight because we've been pushing it for a while now. I'm fine with voting on it.
Okay. Councilwoman Cuellar answered the majority of my questions and everything like that. So I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for your time. I would say, if we're going to vote on it, I would, based on the fact that there's different opinions, I would say it needs to be moved to the regular agenda.
So keep it number 10, but on
Council
regular.
President,
One moment. Councilman Sims? Okay, yes, ma'am.
I would like to comment on Councilman Box, just for the sake of my own clarity, because when we discussed and asked about buildings and buildings in the future, my recollection of it was that we were talking to the gentleman that was putting in the hub site. He did state that he was planning to put additional buildings in the future. And he asked if we made that exception for this special building, and actually gave us the design of the special building, which I do have. And it certainly does qualify as to something that I would consider a special building. And that special building does have masonry. And it does have windows, as well as the beams that make it look professional. And that was my understanding, was that this special building, which is a very, it does look professional, it is what we're trying to do. He was asking for that particular building, but then also noted that there would be some additional ones, and if we would make the allowances for the additional ones. And if my memory serves me right, Councilman Box said, well, no, actually, we're talking about the present. Anything in the future would fall under the ordinance that is in place at that time.
Would you respond to Councilwoman Cuellar? Because it sounds like we're talking about 2 different projects, and I need to close that
She
loop.
has very good memory and impeccable notes. I will say this. my understanding and my intent was that both of the individual property owners would get the exception, in my opinion, for their phase ones only. The hub project and the project here on Roughwood, phase one only, because my question to both of those was, is this going to be a start build and build everything at once, or is it going to be phased in? The answer from both was that it would be phased projects. Now, we've had some different comments from the hub that their financing and their other things may be contingent upon going with material and all from phase one. The other individual I haven't talked to, but I'm still in my my opinion there. We have exceptions, in my opinion, for the two that I pretty much gave my word on. And then I think the hub project falls under a new ordinance that may be passed here. Its phases may fall under that new ordinance according to some research I think Councilwoman Coiler done and legal done. I'm not speaking that that's for sure, but we have two different things. My understanding and my talking with the mayor and others that the two exceptions were for the phase ones or for each of those projects.
Do you agree with that statement, Mayor?
Yes.
Okay. You agree with that statement?
Thank you
Okay.
for that clarification, Councilman Box. Appreciate it.
Okay. Fair enough. So we're going to move, that's still going to remain item number 10, but it sounds like we need to go ahead and move it down to regular for a vote. Is that correct?
Okay.
Okay. All right, getting into more regular business. Item number 11, ordain that ordinance 2023-15 modifies Chapter 4 Buildings and Building Regulations, Article I in General, Section 411, entitled Masonry Required on Structures in Current Zoning Districts to modify the facade requirement in the city. Let's see, ordinance 2023-15 previously had a reading on April 4th. Due to changes in the ordinance, a first reading must occur again, so we need to move through all steps. I know with these two, with item number 6 and item number 10, we've been flirting with item number 11 a little bit. But Councilwoman Cuellar, any comments about item 11?
Yes, I do have one amendment that I would like to make to it, and it is on page 3. I would like us to add this wording, all institutional zoned districts. We have 1, 2, and 3, the square footage that we add above it, all institutional zoned districts.
What you would be saying is that, section F, which starts on the bottom of
Page 2.
only applies to all industrially zoned districts.
Excuse me, yes, industrial zone district, not institutional, industrial zone districts. Thank you so much for that, legal.
Okay.
Because we talked about that at our ordinance committee meeting, and it's industrial zoned districts.
With a sliding scale based on size.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. And I've been informed of that as well. Any other comments, Councilwoman Cuellar? Are you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Councilman Box?
No comment.
Okay. Councilman Sims?
I agree with the amendment.
Okay. And I agree with the amendment as well. All right, item number 12 on regular agenda, ordain that ordinance 2023-17 modifies Chapter 9 nuisances, Article 3 noises of the municipal code of the city of Irondale, Alabama. I know there's been a recent change as of this afternoon. All right, and I believe it was basically changing the word in section 9-72-F, changing vehicle to just point of origin. So before it was a little limited to just cars. Now it can be anything causing the disturbance. Is that fair? Councilwoman Cuellar, anything? Any comments or questions?
I'm good with that.
Okay. Councilman Box?
I'm good with that.
Councilman Sims?
I'm good.
And I'm good as well. Okay. Right. Okay. Before we get into comments, I will say that when you come up to make a comment, there is a sheet on the side of the wall. I apologize for not reminding everybody of this ahead of time. If you're going to come up and make a comment on agenda items only or non-agenda items, I would ask that you please get the form off the side of the wall over there where the agendas are at, so we can get your name and address recorded for the record. Thank you very much. All right. That being said, our deliberation being finished, I would ask for an approval of the form of the agenda.
Make a motion, we make an approval for the form of the agenda for items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9 remaining on consent. Postpone or remove item 6, move item 10 to new business as item 10.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Were you motioning, Mayor?
I wasn't, but if you don't mind, I wanted to say one thing before everybody would exit the building. I just wanted to let everybody know that May 21st through the 27th is National Public Works Week. Please celebrate our public works workers. It's okay for you to give them things out on their route cards, whatever you like to give your public works workers. It's okay for you to do that during the week of the 21st through the 27th. They always say that we treat them like the stepchildren around here at the city. So please, during this week, treat them like your children and provide them with gifts and goodies. And I'm quite sure Frank will appreciate that as well. I'll make this announcement again, but I would be remiss if I didn't say that we want you all to celebrate our public works workers, and it's okay for you to give them something during that week.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Now that we have an approved agenda, at this time, we would accept public comments on agenda items only. We'll be looking for a 2-minute start on that. Any comments on agenda items only?
I just have a quick question about the buildings that you're talking about, the signage. I never heard any one say exactly what they're going to manufacture in these buildings. I think that would be really interesting and maybe have something to do with it.
You're talking about the 2 projects that we've been talking about right now. I know one is countertops, and the hub, Councilman Box.
From what I understand, well, the gentleman here from the hub, he could probably do a lot better than me explaining.
Sure, it's flex space, FLEX, and so it can be used as it's heated and cooled, and so it can be used for a multitude of businesses. So we've had furniture manufacturing to automotive glass installation to beautician school wants to locate there, and so a multitude of various tenants.
There's nothing solid yet, nailed down.
We're waiting for this to be completed, and we've already started breaking ground.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just so
Thank
they
you.
know.
Mhm. Any other comments on agenda items only? All right, fair enough. Since there are no more comments on agenda items only, I would ask for approval of the consent agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as previously stated.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So we get through the consent agenda. So time to address item number 10, formally on consent, now on regular business.
Make a motion that resolution 2023 R56 be approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll go ahead and do roll call. Councilwoman Cuellar,
Yes.
Councilman Box,
Yes.
Councilman Sims,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Okay. All right. If someone could take us through the process on item number 11.
Make a motion that that ordinance number 2023-15 be considered read.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye. Make a motion, we suspend all rules that will prevent the immediate consideration of ordinance 2023-15.
Second.
Motion and a second, roll call. Councilwoman Cuellar,
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
Make a motion that that ordinance 2023-15 be approved and adopted.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Motion passes, ordinance passes. All right, item number 12.
Make a motion that ordinance 2023-17 be considered read.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye. Make a motion that we suspend all rules that would prevent the immediate consideration of ordinance 2023-17.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
Make a motion that ordinance 2023-17 be approved and adopted.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance passes.
Point of order real quick.
Please.
What happened with, resolution 2023-56? We moved to the regular agenda.
It passed.
It
I just did a roll call for clarity,
Thank you.
which I'll do every now and then.
Thank you.
That concludes the deliberation and the passing of the agenda. So we're good there. At this time, we would take public comments to the council on non-agenda items. Come on.
My name is Michelle Tracy. I live at 4832 Scenic View Drive. And on Monday morning at 4:30, between 4:30 and 4:45, there were live round shots that occurred in Holiday Gardens on Elder Street. And there were rapid fire shots, 5, and then there was a conclusion and 5 more shots. I moved back to Birmingham 3 years ago, and I'm very concerned because I bought my house outright. I want to retire and live there till I die, and I've never had to go under my bed with my dogs and call 911. That's very scary. And I don't know why criminals feel like that they can come into our neighborhood and shoot up someone's house. So I'm very concerned, and I may have made a mistake about where I live. So there are a few things that I have noticed about the neighborhood, my neighborhood, which is Crestline Gardens. There are 6 houses between Elder Street and the apartments that are very nice now, and they used to be a disaster. The rents are running about $1,300 to $1,500 a month, and I am very concerned about the rental units that are on Elder and in Holiday Gardens. The question I have is, what are we doing to are the owners that are renting allowed to rent without a business license? And how do you keep up with that? Because we have some people and we have some houses that are very dilapidated. And we've got people that are paying very little money to live in the dilapidated houses, and the owners are nowhere to be found. They live in other areas, and they aren't concerned. We have constant trash problems. I pick up trash. I walk my dog 45 minutes to an hour every day. There are 3 people from Mount Brook that go down Scenic View and Elder, and we all pick up trash. So if we've got trash in our neighborhoods, and now we have shootings, and the property values are trying to go up, I'm very concerned about my neighborhood.
Okay. I'm going to pause you real quick. So you mentioned a lot of things. We're aware of the shooting that occurred, and it is an ongoing investigation. So of course we can't comment on that.
I totally understand
Yeah.
that. What I do want you to comment on is rental properties, dilapidated properties, people do not keep their grass cut, and owners. Do owners have to have a business license in order to rent?
They
in
do.
Farmdale?
And if you have some specific addresses that are causing you some
I have
concern,
lots of specific
please feel free to turn them in to Miss Leanne, and we can put them in front of the abatement board, and we will see if we have any authority to address them.
Okay. Also, I'm worried about the speed conditions on Scenic View. I am very concerned about the light at the top of Elder and Scenic View. That is a very bad, and somebody, I can tell you that people, since I live right there, they scream and yell and they stop their cars and they get out of their cars. And somebody's going to pick up a gun one day and shoot somebody.
So please get with Miss Leanne Allison about the addresses that you're concerned about.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I'm just worried about the entire area because the speed limits that are, I walk the dogs every day. On Scenic View, you've got people going 50. On Fulmer, you've got people going 50. Okay, and I can tell you that that is ridiculous. And when you have to stand in the middle of the road and wave them down and ask them to please stop, that's probably not a real good thing. And so I'm very worried about that. And if we don't control the trash better, then we got a trashy area, and that's not good either. And I'm getting tired of picking up people's trash. But if you have rental people that don't care about distributing trash all over the neighborhood, then we've got a problem. The owners are going to have to take responsibility for these properties.
I've let you go way over your 2 minutes.
Okay.
I do appreciate your comments, and they have been heard.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time.
Is there another way that I can communicate with this board through, because I've got to get some of these issues
What would be your
resolved.
preferred channel, Ms. Lee?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other comments on non-agenda items? Yes, ma'am.
My name's Judy Wilson, 3510 Belmont Road. First of all, I love our city streets people. I mean, they're all wonderful, whether they're picking up trash or mowing the lawn, not lawns, but the right of way and everything they do. I love them to death. And my husband gives them Gatorade sometimes. But I wanted to, I have a question about the signage for the water department. I do all the driving and my husband's the navigator, and I forget where I'm going sometimes, and it's like, there's no sign up there to remind my mind, you know, about the water department or whatever you're going to name the building, because I know there's other offices in there too. So if you could come up with something, I know you're probably working on it, as well as the other buildings that have been acquired, and I'm not really a great fan of this eye right here. I kind of love the trains, or if we could have something a little, I don't know, more what I call representative of Irondale. So I'm looking for a signage, and I thank the city police because I have complained about all the dump trucks and cement trucks coming down Belmont Road, I guess from the Publix construction or wherever it's coming from. And they speed down the road, and I know they paid attention to my call because the truck started slowing down, but now they're speeding up again, and it's just a really dangerous place. We have to back out onto the street, and most of the neighbors also back out onto the street, and they get up speed to go up the hill, and then when they come down the hill coming back, they're flying down the hill. So if they could continue to monitor that, I would really appreciate it. But thank you. I love living in Irondale.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you.
I just comment to
David.
Miss Wilson.
Can I ask? Well, you can go ahead, Councilwoman.
Miss Wilson, the city is undergoing branding, some branding work that's going on, and we're going to have, and I'm remembering what the mayor said the last time that this was brought up, we are going to have our residents to give us input on what branding logo image they like. So you'll have a chance to give some input. At least that's my understanding on it.
Mayor?
Okay. Yes. With the sign, the reason that we haven't put a sign up at the water building because we are creating a new sign ordinance. So the first thing that we didn't want to do is to violate our own sign ordinance. So we decided that we would wait until that ordinance was completed before and we're not going to put a sign on the building. So I can tell you that right now because the sign ordinance is created we're going more towards monument signs. So we will have a monument sign coming soon to be in front of the water department to let everybody know that that's the building. I hear it every night at home about it looks like an FBI building. So I'm with you, Miss Wilson. I got you. And then I see Miss Roscoe back there, ditto in it as well. So we got to get the sign taken care of. With the branding, we are now moving into matter of fact, we are moving into our final meeting with the company that is actually doing the branding to put a presentation together to bring that before the entire city and for individuals that would like to come in and to participate in that process. I'm going to say that we will have something that is very representative of the city. Give us a month or a couple of months, and we'll have a town hall meeting where everybody could come and voice their opinion, their likes or dislikes for what was determined through this branding process. There were citizens that were interviewed to be able to give feedback to what they thought. So I don't want you all to think that this was just the mayor's idea by himself while I sit up in a room and told people this is what we wanted, because that's not what happened. There were 20 to 25 individual independent Irondale citizens who were interviewed and gave their opinion about what they would like to be able to see the brand for the city. So we'll be bringing that to you all to give us feedback within, like I said, a couple of months.
I'm gonna put you on a 2-minute warning.
I'm sorry.
Any other comments to the council and not? Yes, ma'am.
This may be a question just for the clerk, but 5238 Amber Hills Road is coming back up for rezoning. And when we were at the January 17th meeting, we had signed petitions from about 30 people that we passed to the group. All we have on the website is a draft of the minutes, and it lists the people who were against that were here, but not those individuals who signed those letters. 30 more. Could we get a copy of the letters? It actually said zoning in whole or in part. They were against in whole or in part, which is what's coming up again. So we would like copies if we can get those. Is it possible? Just call me. I left my phone running. That's fine. I can come back. Here's the letters.
Any other comments to the council on non-agenda items? Yes, ma'am.
All wrong last time, so I'm gonna try to set this up so people can, you guys can actually see it. Can I
Indeed.
put it back here when you guys can really see it?
I'm good.
There, can you guys see it if I put it?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Donna Mayo. I'm here as a private citizen and not as a representative of Mountain Lake Estates, which is where I live. Last time I was here, I talked about some of the illegal uses of land that were happening in the neighborhood. But tonight, I wanted to just focus on a really tiny area, small area, and it's right here. This is Queenstone Road. This is the Faggard House. They've lived here since the 40s. This area here belongs to Mountain Lake Estates. All back in there is Mountain Lake Estates. This wooded area here is what I'm talking about. In 2019, the Malone Roofing Corporation bought that property and they completely clear cut it. All that wood, all those woods, the trees, everything's gone, and they left a muddy hillside. They went before the Planning and Zoning Board, you were there, and they tried to have it rezoned. And the Planning and Zoning Board in 2020 said, no, you cannot rezone this property, or no, let me say that right. You did not recommend.
We did not recommend it
Right.
for
that it
approval.
be rezoned, right. Okay, so this area right here. This is the Malone building. It's light industrial, no problem. You know, it's been light industrial forever. It remains light industrial. Next time I want to talk about this property, but right now I want to talk about just this property right here. Where's my, do we have any that far? So I just want to give you an example of how Malone takes care of its property. Since 2020, and it was, the rezoning was not recommended, they've used it for their business anyway. And so here you can see the kind of conditions that they allowed on their property. They, you know, to use tires, trash, business, anyway. And this is in such sharp contrast to Queenstown Road, because, you know, on Queenstown Road, you go down and there's all these nice buildings and businesses with office buildings with the attached warehouse, and then you're going down and they've got well manicured lawns and it's all landscape. And you're going down Queenstown Road, and the minute you go into Irondale city limits, this is what you see. This is at the Irondale city limits. So, what I'd like to do is, as I leave, hand you one of these, because what I requested was historical zoning certificate from the Jefferson County zoning commissioner, asking him how was this property zoned in 2005 when it was incorporated into the city. And as it turns out, this area here, from the time zoning was done in Jefferson County, this area was residential, okay? We know that in 2020, it remained residential. So this property always was and still is zoned residential. So I respectfully request that Irondale enforce zoning regulations for this property right here as residential. Thank you.
Ma'am. Any other comments to the council on non-agenda items this evening? With no other comments on non-agenda items, I would ask for a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming out and joining us this evening. Yes.
She requested Rich Gerald's planning and zoning meetings, several meetings. April had said that there's a possibility that part of that, was not related to
Yes.
the law.
Oh, okay.
Not the building, but the
It's
property right.
the one that we passed. Get with our city clerk and she can give you a copy of it. Okay, one of the things that we did with industrial is we've got some,
Yes, sir.
right, that's correct. So if you'll get with her, she can give you a copy of it because it has been approved and adopted. And this way, I think you fall under it. I really do.